Hey all, I'm Jitendra from AppsWise School and today we are going to learn Bun. Sounds like fun? It's a new fast all-in-one JavaScript runtime and let's get started. So what are we going to learn? We will start by understanding what is Bun, what are its advantages and drawbacks. After that we will write a simple HTTP server using the built-in Bun.Serve API. We are going to create CRUD APIs using Bun and Prisma ORM after that. And finally, we will conclude when and why should we use Bun. Let's start by understanding what is Bun, what are its advantages, and some of its drawbacks. Bun is defined as a fast all-in-one JavaScript runtime. It is the third of its kind after Node.js and Dino.js. It is created by Jared Sumner using the Jig programming language. So, what are the advantages of using Bun? The main advantages include speed, elegant APIs, and cohesive DX. Bun starts fast and runs fast. It extends JavaScript core, the performance-minded JS engine built for Safari. As computing moves to the edge, this is critical. Bun provides a minimal set of highly optimized APIs for performing common tasks like starting an HTTP server and writing files. Bun is a complete toolkit for building JavaScript apps, including a package manager, test runner, and bundler. Bun is designed as a drop-in replacement for Node.js. It natively implements hundreds of Node.js and web APIs, including FS, path, buffer, and many more. Though Bun has some striking feature, but it still is not production ready. It is still under development. You may use it to speed up your development workflows or run simpler production code in resource constrained environments like serverless functions. Bun is still unstable and has limited support. You need Windows subsystem for Linux to run it on Windows. Although it has so many capabilities, it can't be an option for production-ready software now, as there is still a lot of work to be done on it. Okay, enough of the theory part. Let's start writing HTTP server with Bun.Serve API. To start writing HTTP server, we need to install Bun first. There are many ways to install Bun, including npm, homebrew, docker, and proto. I am going to use npm since it's the easiest. Npm install -g because we are going to install it globally. Bun. This should be fairly quick. And Bun is installed. Let's confirm. So yes, Bun is installed with its JavaScript runtime, package manager, bundler, and the test runner. Next, I am going to create a directory on my desktop to create the HTTP server. I am going to name it as Quick Start. Let's get into Quick Start. And we are going to initialize our project using Bun init. This is same as npm init. It will ask us few questions. The package name, I am going to leave it as Quick Start. Entry point index.ts, which I am going to leave it as it is. And that is it. Our project has been initialized. Let's look at the contents of this. It contains readme.md. You can modify it as per your requirements. Bun.logb, which is similar as package.json.log. Index.ts, our entry point. Node modules for the packages or the modules. Package.json for our scripts and dependencies. tsconfig.json for our TypeScript configurations. Let's first run our index.ts and see what does it contains. To run any file, we run the command bun run and the file name hello via bun. So that's the output of our index.ts. To create our HTTP server, I'm going to modify our index.ts here. I'm using Vim. You can use editor of your choice. I'm going to delete this console log and create a constant as server. I'm going to use Bun.Serve API, which takes two parameters, a port. I'm providing 3002. You can choose the port of your choice, and a callback called fetch, which takes a parameter request and return a new response. And I'm going to return bun is fun. This should be good enough for our simple HTTP server. I'm going to log the output of this. Bun server is listening on server.port and I'm going to save this. Let's now run again the index file, and our Bun server is listening. Let's check it. I'm going to send a simple GET request using curl. And here is our output, bun is fun. So this is how we create a simple HTTP server which is serving our GET request. Since we have already created a simple HTTP server to serve a GET request, let's start creating some serious CRUD APIs with Bun and Prisma ORM. I am going to use the same quick start project for creating the CRUD APIs. To start using Prisma, let's first add Prisma into the project. This should add Prisma dependency for our project. Once Prisma is added, let's initialize it by using the command bunx prisma init. I'm going to use SQLite as database for this project. So data source provider SQLite. This should initialize our Prisma ORM. Now our Prisma ORM is initialized. Once the Prisma ORM is initialized, we can find the schema in the Prisma folder. Let's create a user model for our database. I'm going to create model with only 3 attributes, ID as integer and with the modifier ID and a default value which would be auto increment. Next would be email, which will be a string and it would be unique. And lastly, a name, which would be again string and this would be optional. Now we have created our model. Let's generate our Prisma client. For that I am going to use the command Bun.X Prisma migrate dev --name init. Now we have got our Prisma client generated, and we can use it in our project for performing CRUD operations. Now I am going to create some routes and controller to handle our CRUD logic. For that I will create a folder called route and another one called app, and inside app I am going to create a file called controller.ts. Inside route I am going to create index.ts, and I will start adding some routes. For that I will need to install Express, bun add types express. I am going to import Express middleware for serving our routes. From Express, and then I will export our root as default, app as application, now I will create some routes. First I will create a post operation on our user route, and then I will create a get operation, and again I will do a put operation for update, and finally I will do a delete operation for removing the user object. Now this itself will not do anything because we have to create the application logic on the controller for all these operations to work. Let's modify the controller for doing the same. In controller, first we have to import Prisma client. And then we will import request and response from Express, and we will create a client for Prisma, new Prisma client. And now we are ready to create our operations. I am going to create a constant first operation as create. It would be an async operation with request and response, and it will be an arrow function. Okay, next would be our get operation with similar parameters, and then we will have an update operation, and then we will finally have delete operations. Now we will start populating these methods one by one. Let's first create. I'm going to wrap my code on try catch so that if there is an error we can handle it gracefully. I am going to take constant name and email from request.body, and I am going to create a user with prisma.user.create create. This will take data as an object with email and name. And then I am going to return a success response. .json, and I am going to handle error, return rest.status as 500 .json, which will be an error.stack. Next, I am going to export these functions as controller. And now I am going to import this controller on our root. And now we will provide the second parameter for these routes, which would be the operation exposed from controller. Controller.create, similarly controller.get, similarly controller.update, and finally controller.remove. And this should be enough for our root. There is one additional thing which we need to do before we test any of the our methods, which is modify our index file to accommodate this route and controller logic. I am going to import express and application from express. I'm going to import I need to install body parser, bun add body parser, and I'm going to import body parser from body parser. Okay, and I'm going to import roots from root, and finally I'm going to create an constant app of type application from express. We are going to get rid of this old server logic since we are using express. We can keep this for some time, and now we are going to provide middleware to parse JSON request bodies app.use body parser.json, and next we are going to use the routes, and we are going to pass app on that. Finally we are going to listen on app listen. We are going to provide our port and a callback function where we can put the log. Bun.Serve is running at HTTP localhost, and let's simply put 3002 here, and that is it for the index.js modification. Now we are ready to test our first method, which is create. For that we are going to use a REST client Postman. Let's start our server with bun --hot run and index.ts. This --hot option watches the file for changes while it runs. Now our Bun server is listening. We can test the post API with the REST client Postman. Let's create post request in Postman. We have our local server, localhost 3002 and the root user. We are going to provide a simple JSON body here with name, Jitendra, and email as Jitendra at jitendra1234@example.com, and let's hit the server. And our user has been created successfully. This is how we can create a post request using the Bun and Prisma ORM. Let's create our get method to serve our get request. For that, I'll put a try catch block where error would be type of any. I'll take const email. We are going to query by email from, since this is a get request, I am going to take query instead of request body as string and then I will take the data to await prisma.user.findUnique, and this will take a where class where email. Now I am going to return a success response. Response.status 200.json data, and let's handle the error in the similar way we did for post, and that should be our get method, and we should be ready to test our get request. Now let's test our get request by Postman localhost, and we are going to provide as query param the email address by which we created the user, and click send. We should be able to get the user. So this is how our get request works with Bun and Prisma ORM. Now let's implement our update method. For that, we'll follow the similar approach. We'll wrap the code on a try catch block, error of type any, and then I'm going to take email as the key and name the field which I'm going to update from request.body. Since this is update, we can have the request body, and then I'm going to update it using await prisma.user.update. Since all Prisma method returns promise, so we are going to use await for that. And update takes two parameters, a where class where we are going to supply the key, which is email in our case, and next is the data class which will be the data we are going to update. In our case, that's going to be the name. And I'm going to return a success response once update is done. this.status200.json as data, and we are going to handle the error in the similar way we did in get method. So that's our update method, and let's test this in Postman. Let's create a new update request in the Postman, and we are going to use the put. For that we are going to use the same route, and I'm going to supply JSON body with key email. Email would be our same email which we have created earlier, and then there will be the data as name which we are going to update. I'm going to update my name, which was misspelled as Jitendra. It should be Jitendra Chaudhary, and let's hit the server, and you can see it's corrected now. So the data has been updated successfully. We can quickly check if our data has been updated using a GET request. Let's do that. So I am going to perform the same GET request, and let's hit the server. As you can see, we got our name corrected, updated, ID, and the email which we supplied. So that's our update method. Now let's finally implement our remove method. We are going to wrap it on try catch block where error would be any, and I'm going to take email, and this time I'm going to take it from request.query. Since this is delete method, we don't need body in that. Email as string, and I am going to use prisma.user.delete, and delete takes single parameter, a where class where we are going to provide email. We don't need to provide any other data into this, and I'm going to return a success response on successful deletion of the record 200.json data, and we are going to use the error handling same as other method. That should be it. That should be our delete method, and let's test this on the Postman. So I'm going to duplicate our get request. Only difference would be this time we are going to make it as a delete method, and the same email which we used to create the record as the key, and let's hit the server, and our record has been successfully deleted. Let's check this record if this exists anymore, and no. So that is our delete method, and this is how we have completed the whole CRUD API using the Bun and Prisma ORM. If you are not very familiar with Prisma, don't worry, we have another video for Prisma details. Please check that. I am going to provide the link in the description. The developer community is thrilled about it and considers it good candidate for next significant step in server-side JS development. It may also assist to narrow the performance gap between Node.js and some of its superior competitor, namely Go. You simply executed index.ts and it works. There is no requirement for transpiling or any other intermediate procedures like with Dino. It includes a bundler, transpiler, and a package management. They are written in Jig and works really quickly. As a result, we may conclude that it is beneficial in context with frequent service start-stop cycles. For instance, serverless code executors such as AWS Lambdas or Azure functions, or cloud systems with a strong emphasis on event-based architecture. Bun is still in continuous development and is far from ready for production. It still has a ton of native Node.js modules and APIs to support. The main scenarios with Express and React.js functions fine, but the MongoDB client or Fastify fail immediately due to problem with essential modules such as HTTP, TTY, and TTS. Other critical stuff like the minification tools and TS generics are still on Bun's to-do list. Technology is a rapidly changing field where improvements happen frequently. Staying up to date with new technology is essential. Early adopters of new technology often have an advantage. Having extensive experience will benefit your career growth. Therefore, it's crucial to explore, learn, and become proficient in latest technologies while it is still relatively new and not widely adopted. I hope you enjoyed the lectures covered in this video. If so, please like, subscribe, and share. This will keep us motivated to bring more quality content on technology and development related topics. Feel free to comment and let us know what specific aspects of Bun Runtime you would like to learn more about next. Your inputs are valuable to us.